Reasoning with default information involves making logical inferences and drawing conclusions based on default assumptions or defaults, which are generalizations that hold true in the absence of specific information to the contrary. Here's how reasoning with default information works. 1. Default rules. Default rules specify default assumptions or expectations about the world. These rules typically take the form of if-then statements, where the antecedent, if part, represents a condition or situation, and the consequent, then part, represents a default conclusion or inference. For example, if an animal is a bird, then it can fly represents a default assumption that birds can fly. 2. Default inference. Reasoning with default information involves applying default rules to make inferences about specific situations or cases. When presented with new information or a specific scenario, the system uses default rules to derive conclusions or predictions based on the defaults that apply in the absence of contradictory evidence. 3. Conflict resolution. In cases where default assumptions conflict with specific information or evidence, reasoning systems may employ strategies for conflict resolution. This could involve prioritizing specific information over defaults, revising default assumptions based on new evidence, or applying contextual reasoning to determine the most appropriate conclusion. 4. Uncertainty handling. Reasoning with default information often involves dealing with uncertainty, as defaults may not always hold true in every situation. Reasoning systems may incorporate mechanisms for quantifying and reasoning about uncertainty, such as probabilistic inference or fuzzy logic, to account for the likelihood that defaults may be overridden by specific evidence or exceptions. Overall, reasoning with default information allows AI systems to make plausible inferences and draw conclusions in situations where complete or precise information is not available, relying on general assumptions and defaults to guide reasoning and decision-making.